Revealed. How a nanny's incredible act at a gala transformed a millionaire CEO's life forever. Lucy has always worn her heart on her sleeve. At 28, she is the kind of compassionate woman whose spirit makes her perfect for her job as a nanny in a vibrant Wisconsin neighborhood. As she juggles caring for the Parker twins while supporting her single mother back home, every day is a testament to her strength and determination. But the weight of her family responsibilities pulls at her sometimes, reminding her just how far she has climbed from their modest beginnings. One fateful evening, the extravagant Parkers invite Lucy to their annual gala. She has never been to an event like that before, a place draped in glimmering chandeliers and shimmering gowns, where laughter echoes like music. As she steps in, the glittering laughter of the elite wraps around her like a heavy fog, reminding her how different her life is. But amidst the sea of wealth, an icy feeling creeps in. Lucy indeed feels like a fish out of water, acutely aware of her humble roots. Yet there is a part of her that fits right in, especially when she catches a glimpse of Mark, the dapper CEO of the Parker's company. He towers among the elite, yet his eyes reveal layers of unspoken turmoil buried deep within a familiar pain that resonates within Lucy's own heart. "Everything all right?" she whispers as they find themselves outside on the gala's patio. The night is filled with the sweet scents of blooming flowers, the cool breeze ruffling her dress. Mark's polished exterior flickers for a moment when he meets her gaze. The facade cracks, revealing a man wrestling with childhood scars, the kind of neglect that wealth can never quite mend. Just as the two find a bond through quiet understanding, a scandal breaks wide open at the gala. The tension in the room becomes palpable. Whispers fly from one glittering group to another. Mark's past, a tangled mess of ambition and insecurity, threatens to overshadow his carefully constructed world. Lucy feels the punishing weight of societal judgment all around them, yet her quiet strength shines in this glaringly superficial setting. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. The air thickens with the weight of unspoken words as Lucy steps closer to Mark. Her courage ignites something within him. It's not just her compassion. It's a reminder of the bonds they share, a longing for genuine connection over all those hollow conversations about stock portfolios. Mark stands at a crossroads, teetering on the edge of two worlds. One engulfed by privilege, the other representing the family values Lucy holds dear. Just as he contemplates a public acknowledgement of her impact on his life, a flicker of hope dances between them. Will he confront the elite's judgment, or will he crumble under the pressure? In that fleeting moment, everything hangs in balance. Lucy knows deep down that their intertwined journeys are just beginning, and the gala, a whirlwind of glittering dreams and harsh realities, will shift in ways they could never have imagined. The quiet strength of a nanny might hold the key to unlocking a world built on more than just wealth. But will they dare to make that leap together? The whispers intensified inside the gala, thickening the air with palpable tension. Lucy could feel the weight of judgment bearing down on her chest like a heavy stone. She looked up at Mark, his handsome face etched with uncertainty, the flicker of hope in his eyes battling against the looming storm. "People don't really know you," she said softly, catching the slightest tremor in his hand as he brushed back his slick hair. "They only see what they want to see." Mark nodded, but the line of his jaw tightened. "I'm not sure how to show them otherwise," he murmured, eyes darting beyond the patio's shimmering lights. "What if I just let them talk? It's easier, safer." "But is it really?" Lucy challenged gently, taking a step closer, their chemistry vibrant in the cool night. "Living behind a facade might protect you for a while, but it's lonely. You're more than what they say you are." As she spoke, Lucy's heart raced, aware that she was stepping into territory far beyond what she had ever known. There was something raw and real about Mark, a connection that pulsed between them. It was unlike anything she had ever felt, a surge of energy to confront the truth. Layered beneath the gala's shimmering facade, Marcus' eyes softened. "How do you do it?" he asked, vulnerability spilling from his voice. "Balance everything and still show up as yourself?" Lucy's thoughts drifted to her own struggles, the pressures of life spinning around her. "I learned that it's okay to ask for help, and to let others in. Sometimes the hardest part is giving someone else the chance to support you." His gaze was steady, searching her face as if she held the answers to secrets he had buried for too long. The moment stretched, feeling like a fragile thread connecting their two contrasting worlds. A sudden commotion interrupted them. A group of elegant guests bursting onto the patio, their laughter clanging against the soft music playing indoors. Lucy felt a rush of disappointment at the break in their connection, but knew it wasn't over. Not yet. Lucy, one of the twins, Mia, darted towards her in a swirl of fabric, cheeks flushed with excitement. "Come play with us. We need your magic touch." Marcus' features lit up instantly, and Lucy felt a warmth spreading in her chest at his infectious smile. "Sounds like the real fun is inside," he said, looking back at her, eyes dancing with mischief. "How about we show them what real magic looks like?" With a shared glance, they re-entered the gala, Lucy feeling the shift in the atmosphere as laughter bubbled around them. Mark was already falling into step beside the twins, playing the part of the charming big brother. It was a sight that tugged at Lucy's heart, filling her with hope. A decision loomed in the air, heavy with possibilities. Mark had the power to reveal his true self, to embrace the genuine connections Lucy represented, and pull back the curtains separating him from the world. Yet, deep down, she feared he could just as easily slip away, retreating back into the shadows. The night wore on, filled with noise and splendor, but as Lucy watched Mark, she couldn't shake the feeling that his journey was intertwined with hers in ways neither could fully understand yet. When the next song began, Mark turned to her, eyes sparkling with anticipation. "Shall we?" he asked, extending his hand. With her heart pounding and a flicker of excitement igniting in her belly, Lucy took a deep breath. They both knew they were on the edge of something monumental, but would they take the leap together? As they stepped onto the dance floor, Lucy locked eyes with Mark, a small spark igniting between them. The world around them faded, leaving only the palpable tension of uncertainty. Would Mark break free from the chains of judgment that bound him? And what role would Lucy play in that unraveling? The answer hung in the air like the notes of the song, waiting to be discovered. As they moved together on the dance floor, the world outside their little bubble felt distant. Marcus' hand felt warm and reassuring around Lucy's waist. She sensed his tension easing, just a bit, and it made her heart swell with hope. The music swirled around them, a soft melody that wrapped around their bodies like a whisper. Lucy could see it in his eyes, the sparkle of someone ready to believe in something more. It was as if, for the first time, he dared to let go of the judgments that had held him captive for so long. "You know," she said, her voice barely heard above the gentle notes, "you can trust that the real you is worth showing." Mark shook his head, lips curling into a half-smile. "I'm just a guy playing dress-up for a night," he remarked lightly, but there was a hint of seriousness behind it. "Not to me," she replied earnestly. "You're more than that. I see you, the real you." His eyes met hers, and for a moment, everything else blurred. It was just them, the music, and this powerful connection that pulled them closer. A network of emotions flooded Lucy. Courage, desire, and an urgency to break through more layers, more walls. As they swayed in rhythm, laughter erupted around them. The twins had gathered a small crowd, their giggles infectious, their little game more of a performance than a mere distraction. Lucy shot a glance toward them, only to find Mia mimicking the dance, her little feet shuffling to the beat. Mark chuckled, breaking the intensity of the moment. "Guess we're the main event for tonight's entertainment?" he teased, and Lucy couldn't help but laugh along, the sound bright and genuine. But while joy surrounded them, Lucy sensed something deeper within Mark, a struggle that lurked just beneath the surface. It was like watching a movie where the hero teeters on the edge of revelation, fighting an internal battle. Part of him wanted freedom, while another part feared it. Without breaking the rhythm, she leaned closer. What's scaring you the most? The question hung in the air, delicate and heavy all at once. Mark hesitated. A flicker of fear crossed his face before he finally spoke. His voice low and raw. What if they don't accept me? What if I reveal my true self and I just disappear to them? The weight of his words hit Lucy like a wave. She could feel her heart racing, aching for him to see the truth. But what if they surprise you? What if you find people who love the real you, people who can handle your truth? Suddenly, the song shifted, a bright and lively tune that sent vibrations through the floor, changing the mood entirely. Mark's features softened, and a smile broke through. Then we'll dance our way through whatever comes next, he said, the optimism in his voice infectious. As they twirled, surrounded by the energy of the gala, Lucy knew this was just the beginning. She could feel it deep inside. This was more than a dance. It was a step toward healing, toward revealing pieces of themselves that had remained hidden for too long. But as the crowd merged around them, her heart raced again, not with excitement, but with a chilling realization. She wasn't sure if she was ready for what might come after this spark of connection. Would the expectations of others pull Mark back into the shadows? Would they still be this close, this intertwined when the night ended? As the last notes of their song faded, she held his gaze, searching for answers. What would tomorrow bring? The weight of that question loomed, and just as doubt began to creep in, a distant shout caught her attention. The twins had summoned them once more. Hey, come join us. We need our magic duo. With her heart pounding in uncertainty, Lucy turned to Mark, silently asking if he was ready to leap again. Would their bond be strong enough to face whatever awaited them? Mark's smile widened as he took Lucy's hand, the spark of joy reigniting in his eyes. What are we waiting for? He exclaimed, and together they hurried toward the twins, the vibrant atmosphere wrapping around them like a warm embrace. Lucy's heart thumped in her chest, a mix of excitement and apprehension. The moment they got to the twins, Mia tangled her small fingers through Mark's, as if he were a superhero summoned to save the day. Dance with us, she shouted, her face glowing. Under the twinkling lights, they formed an impromptu circle. The laughter, the twirls, the joyful chaos stirred Lucy's spirit, washing away her earlier doubts. She didn't want to think about tomorrow. Tonight was electric and full of promise. As the music played on, Lucy watched Mark as he adapted to the lively pace, letting the rhythm envelop him. There was a newfound freedom in his movements, his body swaying with the music, his laughter echoing the twins' delight. Each little spin created a ripple of joy that connected them all. This is what it feels like, he said between breaths, catching Lucy's gaze. I never thought I could let go? She finished for him, her heart swelling. You can. It's okay. Mark nodded, his eyes reflecting a deep shift in understanding. This was not just a dance. It was a slow unveiling of vulnerability, layer by layer. And with each laugh and twirl, he was beginning to rewrite his story. But just as she felt a surge of victory, an ominous voice cut across the joy, sharp and cold. It was Greg, someone Mark had known from his past, a face from a world of judgment and expectations. Well, look at this, he sneered, arms crossed. The CEO playing pretend with the help. Didn't he think you had it in you, Mark? The laughter dwindled, a heavy silence descending around them. The twins looked up, confused, as if they sensed the sudden shift in the air. Mark's shoulders tensed under the weight of Greg's words, and for a moment, all the joy of the night seemed to hang by a thread. Greg, Mark began, his voice shaky yet resilient. I let it go, Lucy interjected, stepping closer to him, a shield against the negativity. Nobody gets to define who you are. The tension built, and she could almost feel the crowd holding its breath. Lucy glanced around, seeing the reaction on the faces of nearby guests. Some were whispering, others amused. It was a moment that threatened to unravel everything. But beneath the momentary chaos, Lucy felt one undeniable truth: the time for hiding was over. She took a deep breath, ready to engage fully in this unexpected confrontation. You see Mark for what he has always been to you. But tonight he has more than that. And if you can't see it, that's your loss. Mark's eyes found hers. A spark of connection in that fleeting moment. Would he take this leap with her? Would they stand together against the judgment that hung in the air like a storm cloud? But before he could reply, another voice joined in Mia, the little twin, tugging on Greg's pant leg with her bright eyes full of innocence. Stop being mean. We're having fun. The heaviness of the evening shifted again, and Lucy glanced back at Mark, her heart racing. This was a decisive moment, the crossroads where bravado met vulnerability. Would they rise above the judgment, or would the weight of expectations pull them back down? Mark's jaw set determinedly, that little flicker of hope reignited in his eyes. I'm not playing pretend anymore, he declared, and with that he took a bold step forward, facing the crowd, facing Greg. And as the potential for deep transformation hung in the air, Lucy held her breath. What might this night turn into? Would the bonds they forged hold strong against the tides of doubt and scrutiny that surrounded them? Mark held his ground, eyes locked on Greg, the tension between them thickening like fog. The laughter that had once filled the air felt distant now. The brightness of the twinkling lights seemed dimmer under the weight of Greg's words. People watched, some curious, others ready to judge. Mark, Greg said, dismissive. You're embarrassing yourself. Lucy felt her chest tighten. She could see Mark's internal struggle. The man she'd seen laughing moments ago was fading. But she wouldn't let that happen. Help? Lucy said, raising her voice a little, cutting through the heavy silence. Mark isn't here to help anyone. He's here to be himself. Mark caught her eye again, and this time, there was fire in his gaze. A slow smile crept on his lips. It was small, but there. She could feel the moment shifting, can feel the crowd leaning in. People change, Greg, Mark said, his voice steady. I've spent too long hiding behind who I thought I should be. Greg scoffed, but there was uncertainty creeping into his expression. And who's that supposed to be? This new you? In a way, yes, Mark replied, his voice firm. Mia pulled at Greg's pant leg again, her little voice cutting through the tension. You should be nice. It isn't fun when you're mean. Laughter rippled through the crowd. It was a sweet, innocent sound, and for a moment, it brightened the atmosphere just enough for Lucy to catch her breath. Mark broke into a grin as Mia tugged again, and it was contagious. See? Lucy said, stepping closer, emboldened by Mia's courage. You have no idea what it means to enjoy life, to let go. Maybe it's you who needs to step back and see the truth. A murmur of agreement spread through the crowd like wildfire. People nodded, and some raised their glasses in a quiet salute to Mark's resolve. It felt like taking a breath of fresh air after drowning. Mark relaxed slightly, his shoulders easing. I'm not going to let you or anyone else dictate how I live. I'm here with the people I care about. This night isn't about you or your opinions. It's ours. Greg's eyes narrowed. Fine. But don't come crying to me when it all falls apart. It'll just be another mess. You really don't get it, do you? Mark said with a slight shake of his head. This isn't going to fall apart. It's just beginning. With that, he turned back to Lucy, the fire of determination still glowing in his eyes. She felt illuminated by his presence, the warmth pouring from him into her. They were separated from the world, a bubble of resilience and discovery. Mia clapped her hands, dragging everyone's attention back to the twins. Dance with us again, she exclaimed, bouncing with enthusiasm. The music swelled once more, inviting them back into the moment. Mark took Lucy's hand again, his grip stronger than before. As they rejoined the twins, laughter bloomed around them like flowers in spring. And it was then that Lucy realized this was bigger than a mere fight against judgment. This was a promise, a commitment to authenticity, to living and loving freely. As they danced together, the fear and tension dissipated, replaced by a powerful energy that surged through the air, filling the space around them. But somewhere in the back of her mind, unsettled doubts lingered. What would happen when the night ended? Would they be able to keep this newfound strength? And just then, from the edge of the crowd, another familiar face emerged. One that might complicate everything, a woman from Mark's past, someone who saw him differently. "Mark," she said, her voice smooth and challenging. "So good to see you, dancing with the help." Lucy's heart raced, sensing that this could pull them back into the shadows. Would this evening's courage withstand another test? Mark turned, his pulse quickening as he locked eyes with the woman who had just stepped into their orbit. A ghost reappearing from a past he thought he'd left behind. Her smile was sharp, predatory even, cutting through the joy of the moment like a hot knife through butter. Lucy felt his grip tighten around her hand, transforming the warmth into a slight tremor. "Clara," Mark breathed, the name escaping his lips like an incantation he hadn't said in years. The name was heavy, laced with memories of who he once was, an unsure man trying to fit into a mold created by someone else. The crowd's energy shifted, excitement mingling with tension. People were drawn to this confrontation, sensing drama unfolding. Clara stepped closer, her presence loud against the backdrop of laughter and music. "I didn't think I'd see you here, let alone like this." Her eyes flicked to Lucy, judging and appraising. Lucy felt a wave of protectiveness toward Mark. He had fought so hard to break free from his past, to embrace who he truly was, and here stood someone who embodied everything he had moved away from. "Mark's here because he wants to be, Clara," she said, her voice cutting through Clara's condescension. "Not because he needs your approval." "Is that so?" Clara raised an eyebrow, the amusement radiating off her sent a cold shiver down Lucy's spine. "And do you really believe he's happy in this little bubble of yours?" Clara's words dripped with sarcasm. Mark inhaled sharply, the past clashing against the present. But he was done living in the shadows of others. "You don't know me anymore, Clara. You don't understand what this night means to me. But I used to know you. I think I still know the real you," she replied, her voice dropping, almost tender, a thin veneer over something darker. "You were lost once. It's easy to fall back into that." Lucy felt a knot of anger tighten in her stomach, her heart racing as if it could leap free of her chest. She glanced at Mark, and in that fleeting moment, she saw the flicker of uncertainty return to his eyes, as if Clara's presence was a mirror reflecting old fears. Did he still see himself as that man? The delicate hesitation that lingered between them felt like a challenge to everything he had fought to build. "Step back, Clara," Mark said firmly, his voice unwavering, but the weight of her presence pressed against him. "That's not who I am anymore." "Really?" Clara leaned closer, eyes glimmering with mischief. "Then why are you still here, dancing with the help? You think it's cute, this little stand you're taking? Are you sure you're not just playing the part?" The crowd hushed, intrigued and tense. Lucy felt the air thicken, the warmth fading again, replaced by the chill of Clara's words. As the music pulsed in the background, time felt like it teetered on a knife's edge. "You think I'm embarrassed?" Mark's voice broke through, earnest and raw. "I'm not ashamed to be myself anymore. This," he gestured toward Lucy, "is freedom, and I won't let you take that away from me." Suddenly, the music became a backdrop for conflict, the previous laughter now replaced by an awkward silence. All eyes were on them, every heart holding its breath. But Lucy held her ground too, her heart pounding with determination. "Mark, don't let her get to you. You're stronger than this," she urged, squeezing his hand tighter. As he turned to her, something changed in his expression, a flicker of recognition and strength igniting within. Would he choose to continue this fight against the shadows of his past? Before he could respond, Clara smirked, taking a step back, but with a lingering promise of return. "Remember this moment, Mark. You won't be able to hide from the past forever." The air crackled as Clara turned and walked away, leaving an avalanche of questions lingering in her wake. Mark looked back at Lucy, the uncertainty hanging between them like a thread waiting to be pulled. Could he really keep moving forward, or would Clara's words echo too loudly to drown out? And just then, Mia's voice chirped in, oblivious to the tension. "Can we dance now?" Mark hesitated, glancing between Lucy and the retreating figure of Clara, his mind racing. Would he rise above his past, or was it destined to pull him back? Lucy knew this moment was pivotal. Let us dance, she urged with a bright smile, holding out her hand. But would he take it and embrace the future? Or would the shadows hold him back just a little longer? Mark stood there, his heart hammering in his chest. The tension in the air felt electric, charged with memories and unspoken words. Lucy's hand was warm and steady in his, but Clara's voice echoed in his mind, whispering doubts that threatened to spiral out of control. He looked deep into Lucy's eyes, searching for strength amidst the chaos swirling within him. "Dance with me," he finally said, a simple plea that felt monumental against the backdrop of conflict. As he took her hand, he felt a flicker of hope, a momentary belief that maybe, just maybe, he could make it through the night untouched by the shadows of his past. They glided onto the dance floor, which felt like an oasis amid the turbulence. The music wrapped around them soothingly, a stark contrast to the words that hung heavy in the air just moments before. Lucy moved gracefully, her laughter merging with the rhythm, reminding Mark of the life he had built, full of light and color. But even as they danced, Mark couldn't shake off the feeling that Clara lurked in the recesses of his mind. He spun Lucy gently, her smile illuminating his turmoil, but the ghost of Clara was all too present, insinuating doubt into every twirl and dip. "Mark," Lucy's voice broke through, soft and sincere. "You okay?" "Yeah, just thinking." "About her?" He hesitated, knowing that every moment of uncertainty was a creeping shadow in the bright light that Lucy brought to his life. I thought I had left that behind." "Maybe she's just a reminder of how far you've come," Lucy suggested, her gaze steady and reassuring. "And how much stronger you are now." Mark nodded, her words resonating within him. He focused on her, on the way she moved effortlessly around him, a force of nature that filled the emptiness Clara had briefly disturbed. He twirled her again, this time letting the music lead them, releasing the weight of his past for just a moment longer. But then the moment faltered as he caught sight of Clara across the dance floor, her eyes locked onto his, a hawk poised to strike. She was talking to someone, a sly smile playing on her lips, and Mark's heart sank. It was as if she were waiting, biding her time, ready to pounce again. He tightened his grip on Lucy, desperation creeping in. What if she comes back? What if she... "Then we face it together," Lucy interrupted, her voice steady. "You're not alone, Mark. Not now. You don't have to be afraid of her." The steady beat of the music surged, punctuating the shifting emotions ricocheting inside him. He had come too far to back down again. The walls of his past didn't have to close in on him. Not now. As the song transitioned to a softer melody, Mark leaned down, resting his forehead against Lucy's, their breaths mingling in the space between. "You really believe that?" "I do," she replied, her eyes locking onto his. "You've shown so much strength already." Yet as they shared this intimate moment, a chilling laugh rippled through the crowd, the unmistakable sound of Clara drawing closer. The protective barrier of their dance shattered, and the looming specter of confrontation reared its head again. Mark's stomach twisted at the thought of what Clara might say or do next. Would he finally make peace with the parts of his past that haunted him, or would tonight send him spiraling backward? "Stay with me," he murmured to Lucy, tightening his grip. "Always," she promised, intertwining her fingers with his. Just then, the lights dimmed further and a new song began, hauntingly beautiful but filled with tension, a perfect reflection of their moment. As they stepped back, ready to face whatever was coming, Mark sensed the weight of another choice looming. Would he emerge victorious from this battle against his past, or would it claim him once again? The tension crackled, and Mark could barely breathe, knowing the answer to his future lay in that moment of looming confrontation. Mark's breath caught as Clara approached, her smile a mixture of mockery and mischief that sent chills down his spine. Lucy squeezed his hand, grounding him in a way he desperately needed. Her support was a lifeline, a reminder that he had someone who believed in him. But the weight of Clara's presence was almost suffocating, a shadow he couldn't ignore. "Mark," Clara called out, her voice dripping with sweetness. "Fancy running into you here. I see you haven't gotten rid of that clinging little shadow." She motioned dismissively at Lucy, Her expression twisted in a way that sent a wave of anger through Mark. "Clara," he said, attempting to keep his voice steady. "This isn't the time." "Oh, but it absolutely is," she countered, brushing off his attempt to set boundaries. "You always loved a little drama, didn't you?" Mark turned to Lucy, searching her face for any sign she felt threatened. Instead, he found her gaze unwavering, filled with strength that reassured him. "Let us just get out of here," he suggested, trying to steer clear of her provocation. Clara rolled her eyes dramatically. "Where do you think you're going? The party's just getting started. Or are you afraid I might remind everyone about your little meltdowns?" Her words felt like daggers, but Mark couldn't back down. "That's in the past," he asserted, tightening his grip on Lucia's hand. "And for the record, I'm not afraid of you." "Is that so?" Clara leaned closer, her voice low enough for only him to hear. "You might want to be. I'll always be here. You think you can just erase me?" Mark's stomach turned. He had fought hard to move forward, to leave Clara behind. But her relentless taunting tapped into fears he thought he was past. As his mind raced, an unexpected fire ignited inside him. This wasn't just about facing Clara. It was about standing firm in who he had become. "Actually," he said, tilting his chin up defiantly, "I'm not ashamed of my past. It shaped me, and now I'm stronger because of it. You don't get to dictate my life anymore." A flicker of surprise crossed Clara's face, quickly masked by her usual facade of confidence. But Mark could see the cracks forming in her armor. He took a deep breath, feeling the weight of his words. The past, with all its painful echoes, no longer had power over him, and Clara was just a chapter he could close. Lucy looked at him, pride shining in her eyes. "That's right, Mark. Don't let her take this moment from you." Clara straightened, trying to regain control of the situation. "You think one little stand will change anything?" She laughed, though there was less sincerity in her tone. "You'll always be the scared boy I knew." "That scared boy grew up," Mark replied firmly. "And so did you, but if you think I'm going to crumble under your games, you're wrong." For a moment, silence fell, the music swirling around them fading as the crowd sensed the tension between them. Clara's smirk faltered, and a flicker of uncertainty danced in her eyes. "Just remember," she said, recovering her smirk, "I'll always be around, watching." With that, Clara turned sharply and glided off, blending back into the frenzy of the gala. Mark stood there, heart racing, feeling both victorious and vulnerable. He had faced her, but at what cost? "Are you okay?" Lucy asked, looking up at him with concern. "Yeah," he said slowly, letting out a breath he didn't realize he was holding. "I think so. I stood my ground. You did more than that. You showed her you're not afraid." The music swelled again, its hopeful notes wrapping around them, and Mark pulled Lucy closer. He felt lighter, but the aftermath of confrontation lingered. What if she comes back? He wondered aloud, fear twinging at the edges of his mind. "Then we deal with it together," Lucy replied, her voice firm. Mark nodded, sensing a shift within him. The battles might not be over, but the fight wasn't over either. He had a chance to rewrite his story this time with Lucy by his side. As they moved back onto the dance floor, the energy surrounding them felt different, electric yet filled with possibilities. Yet as they shared a moment of joy, another presence interrupted. A man approached with a confident stride, his gaze fixated on Mark, an intensity that stirred new uncertainty in the pit of his stomach. "Mark, right?" the stranger said with a knowing smile. "We need to talk. It's important." Just like that, the night took another unexpected turn, and the next chapter of Mark's journey was about to unfold. Would this stranger bring answers, or new complications? Mark felt the initial wave of confusion crash against him as he met the stranger's penetrating gaze. There was something unnerving about the man. Maybe it was the confident tilt of his head, or the way his smile held secrets Mark wasn't ready to uncover. Lucy, sensing his tension, tightened her hold on his arm, grounding him once more. "Who are you?" Mark asked, forcing the words out, even though his voice felt small. The lively sounds of the gala surrounded them, yet this moment felt isolated, like a sudden storm in a peaceful setting. "My name is Alex," the stranger replied easily, his tone disarming. "Believe me, this is not about intrusion. It's about your past and what you might not know." Mark's heart raced at the mention of his past. Clara's earlier taunts still echoed in his ears, and the last thing he needed was more skeletons rattling in his closet. "I don't think I want to hear it," he said, attempting to step back. "Oh, but you do," Alex insisted, his eyes sparkling with a fervor that only deepened Mark's unease. "There are things going on that you weren't privy to, Mark. It's important." Lucy's gaze shifted from Mark to Alex, her protective instincts kicking in. "You should tell us what you're talking about here and now." Her voice was calm but firm, like an anchor amidst rising tides. "That's the thing," Alex replied, glancing around as if gauging the attention of bystanders. "This isn't a conversation for the crowded gala. Follow me, it's best if we talk in private." Mark hesitated. The unpredictable nature of the night was already weighing heavily on him. Clara's shadow was still fresh in his mind, and now this guy was claiming to have vital information? He shot a quick glance at Lucy, seeking her approval. "We can't just go off with a stranger," she cautioned, but curiosity flickered in her eyes. "But if he has information about your past before Mark could fully process it." Alex stepped closer, his demeanor shifting to one of urgency. "Trust me, I wouldn't be asking if it weren't serious. There's a lot at stake. If you don't know, then you're missing part of who you are." Words struggled against Mark's throat. A part of him wanted to retreat, but another part was propelled by raw, insatiable curiosity. "Fine," he finally said, the decision sitting heavy on his chest. "Where are we going?" "Right this way," Alex said, leading them through the throngs of guests, weaving expertly through laughter and chatter, until he found a quieter corridor away from the chaos. A sterile-looking side room loomed ahead. It felt wrong, like flattening the exhilarating energy of the evening into a suffocating silence. As they stepped inside, Mark glanced at Lucy, who seemed to echo the same apprehension he felt. Once the door clicked shut, Alex turned to face him, his expression serious now. "You may want to sit for this." Mark shifted uneasily, the stakes suddenly higher than he anticipated. "Is this about Clara?" he questioned, dread creeping in. "Not directly," Alex replied, running a hand through his hair, visibly weighing his next words. "It goes beyond her. It's about decisions made long ago. Secrets." The air felt thick, anticipation crackling like electricity. Mark's mind raced through possibilities as he remembered the haunting echoes of the past. What did this stranger know? What kind of secrets? Mark pressed, his voice low, urgency cutting through the tension. "Everything you thought was buried," Alex declared, a hint of gravity in his tone. "And how it connects to everything you've built. This isn't just about you. It's much larger than that." Mark's heart raced. Each beat echoed the fear, hope, and uncertainty within him. A past he thought was closed off was suddenly wide open, and he stepped closer to the precipice of something profound. What lay ahead might change everything. In that moment of stillness, the door cracked slightly, and Mark saw a flash of Clara's recognizably smug smile outside, drawing dangerously closer. "What are you hiding, Mark?" Clara's voice drifted through the slit, laced with mockery and insight, with multiple shadows converging. In that tight space, the truth hung like a damning weight in the air. Would he uncover it before it was too late? As anticipation swelled and tension spiraled, Mark could only wonder what revelation awaited him next. Mark stood frozen in that small room, the tension almost suffocating as Clara's words lingered in the air. His pulse quickened, a mixture of fear and determination igniting inside him. Secrets he thought were buried years ago were clawing their way to the surface, ready to confront him. "What does she mean by hiding?" Lucy whispered at his side, her voice steady but laced with concern. She was his anchor, grounding him amidst the chaos. "I don't know," he replied tightly, trying to mask his rising dread. "But I need to find out what Alex has to say." Alex shifted, his eyes darting between them, clearly sensing the swirling emotions in the room. "I understand this is unsettling, but it's critical you hear me out. Trust me, the past isn't as far behind you as you'd like to believe. Mark clenched his fists, fighting against the powerful wave of anxiety washing over him. The idea of revisiting old pains was terrifying, yet Lucy was right beside him, ready to confront whatever came next. Tell us everything, he urged, forcing his voice to remain calm, even as apprehension simmered beneath the surface. I have to know. Alex took a breath, grounding himself. Years ago, before you started climbing the corporate ladder, key decisions were made in your family that changed everything. Your father kept secrets, ones that involve people you thought were long gone from your life. Secrets that can explain why Clara seems to feel entitled to poke into your business. Lucy interjected, her voice steady, as if she too was in the fight with him. Yes, Alex affirmed, his eye catching the glimmer of understanding between them. This isn't just conjecture. Clara has had a hand in ensuring some things stayed hidden. You deserve to know who you really are, Mark. Mark's heart fluttered. This could be everything he needed, a chance to finally reclaim his narrative. What do I need to know? As Alex dove deeper into the intricacies of the past, unraveling connections that seemed distant, a shift began to happen within Mark. Every piece of new information built a bridge connecting his present to his past, igniting a fire within him, a need for clarity and understanding. Clara's face lingered in his mind, a reminder of the insecurities he had buried under success. But he could feel Lucy's unwavering presence, reminding him that he was not the scared boy she once knew. Mark, the relationships you build matter, she interjected during a lull in the conversation. And they can withstand whatever shadows loom over your past. Exactly, Alex chimed in. This journey of discovery isn't just for you. It's for everyone connected to your story. You could change everything, not just for yourself but for those who need to understand the truth. As the weight of Alex's revelations settled in, Mark felt a glimmer of hope. This was a transformation long in the making. He needed to confront Clara. Yes, but more importantly, he needed to embrace who he had become with confidence. Finally, he stood straighter, determination setting his expression. I'm ready, he said. Ready to own my story, all of it. He looked to Lucy, a profound gratitude swelling within him as she returned his gaze, smiling subtly. There was a knock at the door, sharp and punctuated, just as Clara's mocking laughter echoed through the hallway. Mark, what's taking so long? Instead of fear, a spark ignited in Mark's chest. He wasn't anxious anymore, he was resolute. It's time, he said to Lucy, who nodded eagerly beside him. With Alex leading the way, they stepped back into the heart of the gala. The chaotic energy of the room enveloped them, laughter and clinking glasses filling the air. And there, amidst the glittering crowd, Clara stood waiting, arms crossed and a small smirk dancing on her lips. About time, she said, her tone dripping with condescension. I was beginning to think you'd run away. Mark's shoulders squared as he took a deep breath. Actually, Clara, I'm here to show you and everyone else that I won't be bullied into the shadows. I'm taking back my story. Gasps rippled through the crowd, murmurs rising like a wave. Lucy stepped forward, matching his energy. Mark's not just a character in your play, Clara. He is a man of his own making, and he deserves his truth to be heard. The air crackled, tension rising. Clara blinked, and for a moment, a flicker of doubt passed across her face. But Mark refused to back down. Whatever you think you know about me is irrelevant. Tonight, I choose to be unapologetically me. The crowd parted slightly, eyes fixated on the unfolding dynamic. Clara opened her mouth to retort, but Mark pressed forward, fueled by the warmth of Lucy at his side. I've spent too long afraid of you and your judgment. The time for hiding from the past is over. I'm proud of who I am, and I will not let you dictate my worth. You think you can just walk away from the past? Clara challenged feebly. Let us just say I've learned to embrace it, he remarked confidently, a new light in his eyes. And with that, cheers broke out from guests who had been watching the confrontation unfold. A wave of support flooded the room, illuminating the strength that had always been within him. Mark flashed Lucy a radiant smile, feeling the transformation settle into his bones. It was a reminder that he had come full circle not just for himself but also for the bonds he would strengthen with those who truly mattered. Tonight would mark a new beginning, a powerful reminder that together, they could battle against anything that threatened their newfound understanding. As the band struck up an uplifting tune, Mark pulled Lucy close, twirling her into the flow of the music and laughter, no longer overshadowed by the past. It was their moment. The era of hiding had ended. They were stepping boldly into the light, hand in hand, ready to create a future filled with joy and connection. Subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and support the content you love. Comment your reactions and feelings about this transformational ending, and share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this inspiring journey. You need to be part of the community that makes a difference. Don't wait not even one more second.